Coming up on this episode of Real Garbage.
I've never been to a toy factory, so I don't know what they look like.
Who even knows what a toy factory looks like?
Who dressed the dog?
I hate people that dress their dogs up.
They say one small bite can fill up a grown man.
She's talking about Lamba's bread. All that's coming up on this episode of Real Garbage. But first, here's a quick word from our fake sponsors.
Today's episode of Real Garbage is brought to you by Hot Knives. You gotta smoke that keef somehow.
This episode is also brought to you by discovering things about yourself as an adult that you hated as a kid.
Real Garbage. Oh, hi.
Hi.
What's happening, everybody? What's up, realtors?
What's up, realtors?
What's up, Katie?
Not a lot of. I discovered I like pineapple. I went my entire childhood. I hated pineapple.
Whoa, hated?
Yeah, I hated it. I thought it was just disgusting. But keep in mind, there's a huge difference from fresh cut pineapple to like the Dole's cups. You know?
Huge.
And I never had like fresh cut pineapple as a kid, so my pineapple thoughts were like in a can, and I was like, ugh.
That would do it.
And then I kind of had this mini epiphany one day where I was like, I like pina coladas, like the flavoring. I like Dole Whips from Disneyland, which is pineapple and ice made into like soft serve. Mm-hmm. So why don't I like pineapple? And then I was at 3rd Street for breakfast, and I always get a fruit cup. And I would always ask for no pineapple, or if I forgot, just not eat it. But I was like, I'm going to try it. And it was so good. And I like pineapple, and I love Brussels sprouts. Hated those when I was a kid, but garlic buttered Brussels sprouts, they're so good.
Yeah, like Brussels. Those are two things that are delicious.
I know, but as a kid, you're like, ew.
Well, in eating nothing but canned pineapple, of course you're going to hate pineapple. Canned pineapple sucks.
Yeah.
I made homemade pizza a couple months ago, and I'm like, let's put some pineapple on there. And I bought, it only had the rings, only had the slices. So I'm like slicing those up into smaller pieces, and I'm like, it's just. And I even know that it's pineapple juice in the can, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to drink this.
Yeah.
Kind of have a sip. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. There's something different. And then also, like, pineapple lone tree. I'm on a pineapple kick.
That's probably pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm day 113 of no booze.
Nice.
Still getting high, though. That's why I said Hot Knives, because, like,
yeah.
You know what Hot Knives are?
Yeah, I did it as a kid.
That's like the part of the reason I'm using them. I'm like, you know what? You got to remember where you came from.
Back
sometimes.
to basics.
You got to water those roots. Remember your roots. I busted up a whole bunch of weed.
Your stove.
A ton of weed with a buddy of mine. I used my coffee grinder. So when I got home, I was like, just chipping like chunks of keef out of there. And I'm like, just kind of balling it up. I'm like, it's a big ass piece of hash. So I'm like, screw it. I made some knives and been standing at the stove. Man, yesterday I got baked. Nice. I keep trying to do the whole, like, I know how productive I am and awesome it is to be not high for like a month, because I did it in October. And now I'm just having the hardest time. I'm like, okay, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I don't want to be this groggy. I want to be rested. I want to be energetic. So I get to the end of the workday. I'm like, all right, no, I'm not going to get high when I get home. I get home, I'm like, I'm exhausted. I'm going to get high.
Yeah, you're like,
it's just this cycle. I'm sure the pandemic isn't helping.
No.
Being stuck inside, and it's dark.
It's dark at 3 p.m.
I hate how it's like, what, 2 weeks past the solstice, though?
Yeah.
A little more than that, 3 weeks.
The days are going to get longer.
There's still 24 hours, though, as my dad would say. Yeah, the days are getting longer. There's still 24 hours.
There's still 24 hours. Like, okay, what a dad thing to say.
It's a dad joke right there.
That's a dad thing to say.
Oh, I had to get really high to watch this movie because...
As were the cast. I'm sure.
Oh, Matthew Lillard looked... I made a remark that he was, like, intense.
Yeah.
Or really, really high.
Or, like... Yeah.
It was so weird. It was so... There was one scene where he was just staring at somebody. I was like, man, he looks intense. Like, I wonder if he's like that through the whole process.
I know, right?
How did we land on Scooby-Doo? I know the
So-
burping contest was referenced like a year ago.
Yeah. So the burping contest, and also I think it was when we were watching Wonder Woman 1984 that there was some sort of like chanting or drums, and I made a remark like that reminds me of the Scooby-Doo chant. And then we like that's where it started, and I was like, oh my god, next episode. But then we did a good one, and now we did this one. Fine.
Yeah, there was something one of us said during the last episode where it was like, oh, we should do Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Or because next week we have to do, like, I'll figure out what the best White House exploding movie is, because it's gonna fit.
Oh, yes.
But this one, I'd never seen this movie.
Really?
Even though it was from 2002, I'd never seen it.
I was 7 when this came out. So this was like pure nostalgia for me.
Had you ever watched the original Scooby-Doo cartoons?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I way back in the day.
Back in the day.
They're like Teletoon was Teletoon, but then they had Teletoon at night. And Teletoon at night was more retro cartoons. They also played super retro cartoons really, really early in the morning. I distinctly remember waking up at like 4 and 5 a.m. whenever it was on to watch Archie's Weird Mysteries and the old Scooby-Doo and the old Transformers and X-Men. But yeah, I would watch What's New Scooby-Doo and the old Scooby-Doo on TV all the time as a kid. I loved Scooby-Doo.
Well, this was basically just a live action episode,
Yeah, so
which I wasn't expecting. I thought, okay, it's a movie rendition of a cartoon. They're going to make it a little different than an episode.
it started the process. I was reading trivia. Classic. Originally, this movie was supposed to be a bit of a satire about the cartoon, like poking fun and making fun of itself a little bit, not taking itself too seriously. And the original rating for this was actually an R rating.
Because these people got ghost shipped.
Yeah,
They got totally ghost shipped.
did. When everyone signed on, the original idea was that it was going to be poking fun of itself. It was going to be raunchy. And we were, this hurts me. We were going to get a side relationship of Daphne and Velma, because it's always been talked about that Velma is at least bisexual, and so is Daphne, and that Daphne was with Fred, but Daphne would also canoodle with Velma. And they all signed on, and they were like, hell yeah. And then it got to a point where this got ghost shipped. The entire thing changed and was made more family friendly. And they had to CGI out cleavage in this movie. Like that. So that is number one of when you notice, okay, this isn't going to be good. Because already before it's even started, it got vetoed and changed.
It should have been given a G rating. There was nothing PG about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm watching this thinking this is geared towards children.
Yeah, I watched it when I was 7, and watching it today, I now picked out all the little like adult references.
There wasn't very many.
No, but I didn't grasp onto those when I was 7.
Do you want to tell people what Scooby-Doo is about? What this episode of Scooby-Doo is about?
Yes. So, live action Scooby-Doo. We don't know what year it is, but we are met up with the gang. Velma, Shaggy, Scooby, Daphne, and Fred. Duh. They solve a mystery. They break up because of lack of teamwork. They're reunited by mysterious Mr. Mondavarius 2 years later to Spooky Island, where they need to solve a mystery about the college students there. And then, of course, you get your Scooby shenanigans for the next hour.
So this basically starts off in an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Because they're chasing a ghost around this factory.
Wow-o. Wow-o Toy Factory.
It was okay. It was a toy factory. I was pretty sure. I was like, I missed the wow-o. Wow-o.
Wow-o.
Oh, wait. I saw the wow. And I thought it was mom, because the boxes were upside down in one spot. So I saw mom, and I was like, is that a mom doll? Is this a toy store? Okay.
Tired of your old boring toys? Have you been abandoned by your mother? Then you need the hottest new toy from Mattel, the Mom Doll. The Mom Doll comes with accessories like handbags, white wine spritzers, and benzodiazepine pills because she's had a tough day and deserves it, you ungrateful little bastard. Mom even has lever action backhand motion, so when you decide to step out of line. Mom also has 12 preloaded sayings that she can say. Just pull the string on Mom's back to hear what she's got for you.
What are you, an asshole? Take it out of here now before I call your father and he's hosing out the goddamn window. And you're letting him do this. You're just as bad. What is wrong with you two idiots?
The Mom Doll, new from Mattel.
The physics of what is happening here
I know.
was annoying me. There was a point where Velma falls off of a catwalk with a chain wrapped around her leg. It would have ripped her leg right off.
Yeah.
Oh, like just
Ooh, yeah.
So-
and she's hanging there like a bungee.
there's no real world consequences in this
No.
movie at all.
Well, no, because one thing that kind of pissed me off is it went from not wanting to take itself seriously to taking itself seriously, and it was real human characters doing cartoony things. So, like, obviously the bounds of possibility with the human body and imagination in a cartoon are endless. It's a cartoon. But for a live action, just make it feasible. You know, don't put real human people in cartoon situations because immediately it's going to take your audience out of experiencing it.
Well, it took anyone over the age of 7
Yeah.
out of it. That's what I was thinking was that why would they do that? Like make it, if it's people, we want to see what would happen to people in the situation. Like Shaggy could not ride a skateboard with a barrel over his head.
And a Great Dane on his shoulders.
What does that dog weigh, you figure? He's big.
Yeah, he's probably like 190 pounds.
Yeah, he's big.
Yeah,
And
Scooby-Doo.
The CGI of the dog was...
It was better than the other CGI in the movie.
Yes.
You can tell where the budget went to.
I read that cleavage thing, but I wasn't paying attention to it because I guess they did a good enough job that they CGI. Like, how much cleavage was there? I guess, thinking now, there would have been a lot because you got Sarah Michelle Gellar, you got Isla Fisher, and then wasn't there, and
Linda
Velma.
Cardellini.
Yeah, Linda, oh man.
I know.
Just a stacked roster. Like that, I made a note at some point, was like, this is what's keeping me involved in this movie.
Yeah.
I can look at these 3 all day. And they're like, back then they were like 25, 26. They were just starting their not starting their careers. The careers were younger.
Yeah.
This makes me sound like such a creep. They were like 25 back then. So was I. They were older than me not by much.
Yeah.
So it makes it better.
Daphne, in the beginning, she's like, hurry up, this ghost keeps, and then it cuts off, and like it's alluded that the ghost is just grabbing her ass.
Oh. This is a toy factory. Why were there spinning blades
Yeah.
on a conveyor belt?
And why was there a big, like, skateboard-esque bowl full of, like, heat?
It was the oddest. I've
Yeah.
never been to a toy factory,
No.
so I don't know what they look like. So I can't really, but I would guess that they don't have giant spinning blades on conveyor belts and skateboard ramps all over the place, unless it's a bunch of kids that run the toy factory.
Yeah.
Which,
No, it was Pamela Anderson running the toy factory.
she just rolled in.
Yeah, I was like, who the hell's driving the mystery machine? And it's Pamela Anderson.
Like even that is like, let's bring in a celebrity for the end. It's like the end of that episode.
Yeah.
Where was that movie? Like,
I know. I want to know why Pam Anderson, because she played herself, was teamed up with the Scooby Gang.
imagine that's what you do when you're a celebrity is you just start teaming up with people who solve mysteries or people like private detectives. Like, I'm bored. Can I tag along with you?
Honestly, I would do that.
Well, why not?
Yeah, if I were a celebrity, I'd be like, hey, I want to be a part of this mystery.
Sometimes I wonder what I would do if I didn't have to work 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just had 10 days off of Christmas. I know exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing.
I know. I would like to think that I always say if I ever won the lottery and was set for life, I always say like I would still work because I would be bored. And I feel like I'd probably still work, but at the same time, I don't know if that's true. Like I would probably try, but then as soon as someone was like treating me like shit, I'd be like,
Well, yeah, you
and go home to my 10 million.
That's how I live my life. I just go without the money. I just work a job. I'm like, I hate this. I'm out. I quit. Actually, no, I've quit lots of jobs. Only been fired once.
Wow.
Like 55 jobs is pretty good.
Yeah, damn.
55 jobs.
55.
Yeah.
55 jobs.
So they wrap up the thing and they're like, in a day's work, gang, or whatever they say.
Yeah.
There's some sort of, I can't remember what they're saying is. They have a motto.
Yeah.
And they just decide they're all going to quit.
Yeah, because Fred takes credit for Velma's plan and she's so pissed off that she's like, I quit. Like, okay, babe.
And then the rest of them quit, though. So
Yeah,
it just seems like, okay, did you all want to quit?
I know, like, it seemed very childish.
So now it's 2 years later. They all quit. They all part ways. It's 2 years later. And it's like all in the span of 10 minutes of this movie. We're introduced to them. They all quit. And then it's like, hey, you want to go to this mystery island?
Yeah.
Sure. Or Spooky Island. They all get invited to Spooky Island. And they all start running into each other by the 9.5 minute mark of this movie. I'm like, oh, okay. So there's nothing.
So that was quick.
Yeah, nothing really at stake here. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody questioned the giant Great Dane in a dress.
Yeah, and heels.
And how's
Yeah.
that dog? The dog couldn't walk in heels.
Yeah.
Who dressed the dog? There's so many questions.
I know.
Who dressed the dog? Can't dress himself. The dog looks like it's worn the dress before, so these people obviously dressed this dog up.
Yeah.
I don't think they should own that dog.
No.
It's a very, very weird situation there.
And this, we don't know the time period of this movie, so because it was released in 2002, I'm going to go off of the year that it was released. It's early 2000s for them, which means this would be post 9/11. So, like, this dog doesn't need a passport.
It's a dog in a dress, and not one person's like, not even one kid's like, look, Mom, it's a dog.
Yeah.
Anybody could tell. Like, if you look at a dog. If you put a dress on a dog right now, you're not going to go, oh, that's a weird looking.
That looks like my grandma.
Girl.
Yeah.
And if it's standing on its hind legs, that's even freakier. Yeah, zero security, nothing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
they get on the plane, and the dog hasn't made a sound. It's fine. The dog can talk too.
Yeah.
Full on talk. And Isla Fisher's like, oh, excuse me, mind if I sit next to you? And then she starts sneezing. She's like, oh, I'm allergic to dogs. I'm like, you're sitting next to a dog.
Yeah, like, babe.
You're sitting next to a dog. It's right there, and you can't tell. Like, dogs don't breathe normally.
No.
That grandmother would be panting
Yeah,
next to
she'd
her
be
on
like-
the plane.
Yeah. Also, I love, again, something I didn't realize when I was 7, obviously, but Isla Fisher's character is named Mary Jane. Like, they slipped so many references, because in the R-rated one, Shaggy was definitely going to be a stoner. So they were, like, slipping in little innuendos here and there. You know, when you're a kid, or even as an adult, because sometimes I still find this, you're watching a show, whether it's animated or real life, and there's some food and you're just so curious to how it tastes. Like turkey legs in animated shows, just ripping it off the bird. Those look so good. You know, Krabby Patties from SpongeBob. I want to know what that tastes like. Is it a regular burger? Probably, but it's fictional. And Scooby Snacks. Scooby Snacks look like animal crackers. I really want to know what they used in real life because they had little S's on them. So obviously someone baked these. So I want a Scooby Snack recipe.
Just Google it. There's a bunch of, but you Google it right now, there's like 100 of them. You just reminded me, I found a recipe for Lambas bread.
Lambas bread. Oh my God.
Lambas bread.
They say one small bite can fill up a grown man.
More Lambas bread. So the dog ends up barking because there's a cat.
Yeah.
Just animals all over this plane.
I know, nobody's in a crate.
He starts barking, punches Fred in the face. Full on like right hook reef in the face. And again, nobody sees this like
I know. Bad grandma.
If somebody
grandma.
If somebody punches someone in the face on an airplane, somebody's gonna see it.
Yeah, the air
One person's
marshal's
see
gonna
it.
get up.
But nobody saw the dog do it.
Scooby Snack recipe.
So they get to the island.
Which is literally like I love how it has its own private airline. Like
Spooky air.
Spooky air. It's like it's Middle Earth and you're riding on Middle Earth air with Smaug on the side of the plane.
I wonder where the spooky air advertisements are.
Flying to Spooky Island? Don't just choose any airline. Choose Spooky Air. Here at Spooky Air, we're dedicated to keeping you on the edge of your seat the entire flight with things like jump scares, fake terrorist threats, maybe the captain saying that the airplane is about to burst into flames. Spooky Air will keep your heart racing, so when you land, you'll be grateful and glad to be alive.
Oh my God,
the
we're
overwhelming
alive.
sense of relief will make you want nothing more than to fly with us again. Spooky Air. The only thing that we're afraid of is high prices.
Did you notice who the painted face guy was at the dance party? At the like ceremony?
Oh, the guy who is bald with the vest?
Yeah.
No.
The wizard. Super Mario Brothers.
Really?
It was like the only credit of his I recognize. I'm like, where do I know this guy? Because he looked
Oh
like,
my God.
I think he might have also been, you should look this up.
Yeah.
He might have also been the guy, the Kalima from Temple of Doom. He
Oh.
looked kind of like him. I think he is. I didn't scroll down that
Okay,
far.
I'm gonna find out.
Do it.
Do it.
This is where we meet Mr. Bean.
Yeah, Mr. Montevarius.
Montevarius?
Yeah.
Montevarius.
Montevarius.
Oh, we also get a glimpse of what's happening to the college students because the whole thing is like, oh, the college students are looking like, because they walk by a line that are leaving and they're just in like perfect formation, standing
Yeah.
2 feet apart. And Carol just, this dude walks up and is like, Carol, what's going on? It's me. We used to be best friends. And she's like, I don't know you.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we went to school together. And she's like, "Brah,"
Yeah,
picks him up
full
over
on.
her head and just throws him.
Launches him.
That wire work was awesome because
I
he just
know.
went like straight across. I'm like, yeah, damn, Carol.
Damn, Carol.
So I didn't really know what was this dance party for. It didn't really tell us.
Welcome. It's probably a welcome party.
Yeah, it must have
they're
been.
like,
Then we meet the voodoo guy. I remember
Yeah.
the voodoo guy. He
wizard
was good.
guy.
I liked him. He was funny. He's like, oh, I got to start my voodoo ritual over again. You're ruining things.
What are you doing? Now I have to start my voodoo ritual all over again.
Scooby-Doo is sitting at a bar
Yeah.
eating, and he gets a phone call. The bartender's like, oh, I got a call for Scooby.
Mr. Do. No, he says Mr. Do.
Mr. Do?
And then this dorky looking kid is like, do you mean Melvin Do? And he's like, no, Scooby.
And the dog sitting at the bar is like, rotting it. Again, the bartender gives
He's
the
like,
phone
"Here
to
you
a
go."
dog.
He's like, here you go, Scoob.
And you must be Scoob.
Yeah, you must be Scoob.
And the voice on the other line is that of a purple dragon, we find out later, who's
Yeah.
like, hey, you want a bag of hamburgers?
Yeah.
Come out to the woods where nobody can see you and I'll give you the hamburgers. And he's like, okay.
Obviously, they used the tail end of the budget for the rest of the CGI for these creatures.
Mm-hmm.
They were like tall goblins, like elven goblin.
They kind of reminded me of smaller versions. You remember Spawn?
Yeah.
Remember the Violator? John Leguizamo's character, the clown. He turned into that, like, I'm the Violator! And he turns into that big,
Yep.
long-limbed monster with the weird face.
Yes.
That's what he sounded remind me of, but smaller. It's almost like they just copied Spawn.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Spawn. There's a point here. I also have to remark on the strength of the dog, because Scooby-Doo
Yeah.
catches Shaggy in midair. Shaggy's got to be like 6'2",
Yeah.
190.
Yeah, Matthew
pounds.
Lillard is huge.
He catches him on his hind legs and is like, ooh,
Yeah.
hey.
Let's
It
go,
is-
Reggie.
The
I
physics
know.
of this.
I know. Real people doing cartoon things.
Silly.
And then apparently, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Lauren Cardellini? Linda, thank you. Linda. They all like hate this movie, obviously, for the same reason that Juliana Margulies hated Ghost Ship, because everything changed. But Matthew Lillard used to hate it. However, his performance in this was applauded by critics and fans alike. So he kind of warmed up to it. And him doing so well as Shaggy in this has allowed him to continue voicing Shaggy in all other like animated projects and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Except the 2021, he wasn't asked to come do the voice, which he was so upset by because he's been doing it for the last like 18 years.
Damn.
And him not being asked to do the voice for Shaggy in the newest one, he was kind of like, oh, that's shitty.
You got to think, though, 18 years, there could be another person out there that's just, newer, fresher, that much
notch
better,
better.
and they can pay them less.
Yeah.
Hey, we can pay this guy
The
half.
key.
Well, the building they're going into, do they say what it is?
It's an abandoned ride
Okay.
in the castle.
That's what I assumed it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. I'm like, this looks like a ride, but they didn't really say.
Yeah.
I'm like, did I miss it? I'm not skipping back. I'm too far gone.
Velma says it. She's like, this is an abandoned ride. It was closed because it was too scary or something. And they, classic Scooby, they split up.
Because that's the best strategy.
Yep. And Fred and Velma go off together. And this line killed me. Their rapport where I forget what they're talking about, but Fred is just like, hey, dorky chicks like you turn me on too.
Oh, yeah.
So then they're split up and this little dude dressed up
Oh, yeah.
turns on the ride.
What is the technical term these days?
I don't know.
Because, little people can be kids or
Yeah.
short Asians, short people.
Yeah. I don't know.
You can't be a dwarf unless you own a battle axe. That's like a stipulation.
Yeah.
So that's out of off the table. The other one apparently nobody says anymore.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know.
This small person,
This wee man.
a wee man.
He turns on the ride and then Daphne gets picked up by the ride car. And then all of a sudden these what are they called?
Just swinging. I would just call those swinging axes.
Yeah, sure.
Swinging axe blades.
Yeah, in a children's ride, are coming toward Velma and Fred.
Very slowly.
Yeah. And then I remember as a kid, it freaked me out. As an adult, still freaks me out. I think it's disgusting when when Shaggy and Scooby are in the food room and they get yanked against that wall by the links of sausages, and then those turkeys open up with a mouth and have this weird hand, tongue, mouth thing that's like
creepy.
Absolutely not. Disgusting. Why would you waste budget on that?
So there was a point here, there was a training video.
Yeah, so
The cringe-worthy brainwashing videos.
yeah, so it's not brainwashing video. We find out that it's the training video for the aliens or creatures, monsters inside the humans to act like humans. But yeah, Fred and Velma discover this video area where we see two cringy reenactments of
what to do if you bump into a stranger.
Yeah.
I will kill you and eat
I
your
will
soul.
crush your bones into dust.
That's what it was. Hey, bro, have you heard about this new song? No, tell me about it.
Mm-hmm. And then Daphne goes and finds a Damon-ritis, and then Shaggy and Scooby have a burping and farting contest.
That gets out of hand.
Yeah. I didn't realize I always watch movies and TV shows with subtitles. And
I didn't turn them on until about halfway through.
Because
there were points where I was like, what did he just I was actually missing stuff.
Yeah. There was a point during when Shaggy's finishing off his final fart and Daphne comes in. He's like, I'm not stopping until your fur is singed off.
Ugh.
It was too much.
Things were different in 2002.
Very much so.
Were they having the burp and fart contest while they're still in that abandoned?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because I wrote down nobody sees the dwarf dressed like gold dust.
No.
Because he's under a desk that's
yeah.
totally open, just
Yeah. Just sneaking around.
Going to push a button.
Yeah.
And just smashes the whatever the red button.
Yeah,
did.
the panic button, which brings the people, but then they escape anyway by pretending to be dressed up as things.
That's right. They escape by jumping into, and that's again the whole. This is a complete cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
They jump into suits of armor.
Yeah.
In seconds.
Yeah.
It's like no, that shit's hard to put on.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Velma is at a bar with the Damon-ritis trying to read it, and this random guy shows up, and then all of a sudden, this bartender is like, "Here, these are for you." And she's talking about how they used to be, and they bring up Scrappy-Doo.
Scrappy.
Scrappy-Dappy-Doo. again, during this little like throwback scene, when they're about to kick Scrappy-Doo out of the mystery machine, he's like, "You don't have the scrote for this job."
Can we talk about how that dog just pisses?
Yeah.
Pisses on, was it Daphne or
Yeah,
Velma? Yeah,
Daphne.
just what does he say right before that? He just shouts something, then he's just like,
Puppy power.
and just pisses on her. Like,
Yeah.
just
She's like, "He's peeing on me." And then Fred's like, "You were marking your territory."
that was insane. I would have
Yeah.
taken that dog and chucked him
Yeah.
up. No, maybe not.
But
out
then the
window,
dog
to the back
says,
of the van.
Yeah. But then the dog says to Fred, "You don't have the scrote for this job."
And, oh yeah, 'cause he's right in the next scene. It's like, oh, he's not a child though. He had a pituitary gland. Or
Yeah, he had a
issue or something
gland
like that. Like,
disorder. And then so they're in the bar, and then the monsters attack, knock out Fred with their bad breath, knock out Velma with their bad breath. Mary Jane, Scooby, Shaggy, and Daphne all escape, and then completely destroy the hotel and drag their kidnapped people to their lair. And then Mary Jane just has the Coast Guard's number on her cell phone. She's like, "I'm calling for help." "Hi, Coast Guard." Like, what?
what happens between that and when they wake up on the beach?
I know. Everything's just fine.
They just wake up, like, when did they go to the beach? Because they're like, oh, let's go wait for them.
Yeah, because they were supposed to wait at the pier for the Coast Guard.
But they just, like, how long are you going to wait for? And then just fall asleep on the beach.
I know.
And they wake up, it's like bright, like broad daylight. I'm like,
Yeah.
how long were they asleep
I
for?
know. Like, I've fallen asleep on a beach once. And you're right there. So as soon as the sun starts coming up, like, I immediately woke up. There was no way I was sleeping on a beach until like noon.
And they all wake up at the same time,
Yeah.
which
Because
doesn't happen.
they get hit with like a volleyball or something.
Oh, the red ball.
Yeah. So
that was that woman's big break.
yeah.
This is where we see Sugar Ray.
Yeah. So they're walking around and Sugar Ray is just playing at this resort. And it's not 2002 without Sugar Ray, man.
I was very surprised. Obviously, they didn't have the budget to get any of their popular songs because the song they were playing, like, this doesn't even sound like Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Because if you get Sugar Ray, you gotta have I Just Want to Fly.
Yeah. I
Just wanna fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. That's the one.
Yeah.
And I might add, everybody, including myself, 2001, 2002, wanted those frosted tips.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was like the style.
Yeah.
I look
Lance
at that now, I'm like,
Bass had them. Sugar Ray had them.
they were rough.
Yeah.
Like, look at them now. I was like, wow.
So then the Shaggy and Scooby come across Fred, who's possessed by this monster. And they start chasing Shaggy and Scooby to the shed. And then they say bikes, but those are quads, bro.
Right? Yeah, ATVs, quads,
Those are
four-wheelers.
quads, bro.
The quads.
The quads.
You take the quads. I had so many issues with this scene. They did not, first of all, they did not have enough speed to jump through those doors.
Yep.
They didn't have enough speed to bust through those
Yeah.
doors. Who did the dog's helmet up? How does a human helmet fit a dog? He doesn't have any thumbs. He can't push the throttle.
Yeah.
And
And he's sitting up like a human being. Like,
there's 7 issues I have with that dog riding a quad.
and then they almost run over Mary Jane and they pick her up and she's like,
Stop on a dime.
yeah. And then they outrun everyone and get to this bowl.
Ooh, she takes a
Yeah,
tree to the face on the way, though.
Yeah, and then it reveals that a monster's already possessed her and she like fixes her rubber face. And that was so spooky as a kid. I remember watching that and I was like, ugh.
Like at 38 years old, I'm watching that going, how's wrong with her face? It's like, I don't know why I feel like I missed that. Like, I know the monsters were there, but I just missed where like they started taking over. And then I realized, oh, they're taking these people over. I'm like, where did I miss that part? Because I actually watched this whole movie.
Yeah.
Wasn't looking at my phone. Wasn't like walking around my apartments.
So then they're fighting because Scooby-Doo is like, Mary Jane is a man in a mask. And then he falls down this chute. And then Shaggy just dives into the chute head first. And then Shaggy discovers, like, immediately Scoob is gone. That maybe 10 seconds between when Scooby falls and when Shaggy falls.
It was very
Scooby's
quick.
just gone. And then Shaggy discovers this evil-looking bowl or cauldron of souls.
Yeah, that was a weird looking. Why would you keep your souls in a big bowl?
I know, an open bowl.
An open cauldron.
And then he just picks out Velma and lets her go, and she finds her way back to her body.
And that I don't believe. Come on, like how is the bowl sorted?
Yeah.
Is it just a mixture of souls? Because like you
Yeah.
gotta pick one out of. There's probably like a couple thousand in there.
I know.
How many people have been to this spooky island?
I know. And then he gets Fred out and gets Daphne out, but
yeah.
Daphne and Fred get mixed up. And this part of the movie I actually enjoyed. I very much enjoy it when there's some sort of like identity swap in movies or like a Freaky Friday thing or in Harry Potter.
The polyjuice potion.
Yes, the polyjuice potion, but also in the first part of number 7 where Helena Bonham Carter has to act like Emma Watson playing Hermione Granger, who's pretending to be Bellatrix Lestrange. Like, I love stuff like that because it really shows what an actor is capable of or not capable of. So I really enjoyed watching the 4 of them play each other because I feel like they did it really well. So I did enjoy that.
I was just laughing at that part because I'm thinking, because their consciousness is switching from
Yeah.
body to body every 15 seconds or so,
Yeah.
we'll say. You could market that thing as a sex toy
Yeah, truly.
for your next orgy, folks.
Yeah, swap bodies.
That would just be weird.
I know.
If it was like, say you're fighting another person in a ring, boxing ring, for example, and all of a sudden you throw punches, all of a sudden, woof, you just become them, and you're looking at yourself like, what the hell?
I'd be like, don't hit
It'd
me.
be so crazy.
Yeah.
But then you just know in 10 seconds you're going to jump back to the other body.
So you're like, do I punch myself in the face?
Like, oh, I want to punch you in the face. Okay, where are we at now?
Oh, so they go to the beach and they see that voodoo guy again.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about it's
So
like
he starts talking about the ritual they're going to do.
The
The Darkopolis.
The Darkopolis.
Darkopolis.
Yeah. Yikes.
Darkopolis.
Yeah, it's the Darkopolis.
I wrote it down once and I was like, wait a minute, I got that wrong. And then I saw the subtitles and I was like, oh, Darkopolis.
Darkopolis.
Darkopolis. Yeah, I want to say that. Darkopolis. I must say the talking heads, like when they pull them out of the.
Oh, yeah.
They look really like waxy.
Yeah.
They didn't even look like them. It was
No.
like, oh, hey, it's Velma. What's up? I'm like, is that Velma?
Yeah, is that her though? It definitely looked like they tried to render their face onto like a plasticine figure.
It was odd.
Yeah.
It was off-putting because I didn't realize it was Fred at first. And I'm like, oh, it
Yeah.
is Fred because like his voice gave him away.
And then the voodoo guy on the beach just disappears. Like we don't see him walk away or they just stop talking to him and he's gone. And the 4 of them decide to go save Scooby. And then Scooby's talking to Mr. Mondavarius and he's like, I want you to be a sacrifice. He's like, a rack rice? Or like a rack
Ragweed rice?
rice. Yeah.
Ree.
Ree.
They're going to sacrifice a dog.
I know they need the purest soul, which I guess like a dog makes sense. But I feel like Shaggy's soul is pretty much the same. Like you don't have to go after the dog.
I would think from a legal standpoint, these ritual people are like, listen, we're going to get off easier if it's a dog than it is
True.
a human.
Yeah, true.
Because like, we don't got to deal with his owner. That's about it. Here, take some money.
Yeah.
Go buy yourself a new dog.
So then they're setting up a trap in the cave area again to free everyone's souls, and then they have their disco skull to get the light and kill all the monsters.
Wait, is this before or after Fred just totally refused to help find Scooby and just said, let's just leave instead? Like an asshole.
Oh,
Asshole. They're
Yeah,
like,
that was after, my
Shaggy's
bad.
like, we gotta go get Scoob. And Fred's like, listen, we're just gonna go.
yeah,
Like,
like
there's nothing we can do. I'm like, You're a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
At least your dog.
Yeah, that's your dog.
Oh, like
Fred.
loading up with weapons and guns and like,
Yeah.
let's go get this dog.
Yeah. That guy does not pass the John Wick vibe test.
I had John
Weak.
Wick. I had John Wick on the other day for background sound. Background sound.
But yeah.
Headshots. Great movie.
So then they set up their trap and the ritual starts. And it's the like chanting that reminded from whatever movie you were watching reminded me of this, where they were like, ooh, and they're just dancing. And then Fred and Velma dancing. Bad dancing gets me. Like, I will always laugh. And especially Fred. Like, he was going for it.
What was that movie he was doing at the end when everybody stopped and he was like,
Yeah.
doing some sort of weird
Yeah.
arm thing, and then he stops,
Yeah, it was like he
whoa.
was kind of shopping. He was like grabbing something and putting like
It might have been the shop. It might have been something like the shopping.
the shopping cart, maybe.
Horrible dance moves. They're wheeling Scooby to the front to get sacrificed, and this boy Shaggy gets in there, and they just get lost in a little heart to heart. Like, listen, Scoob, we're
I
gonna
know.
do this, and we're gonna be better friends, and we're gonna make sure that we do all the things, and then me too, and then all of a sudden, boom!
Yeah, just rips his soul
Like,
out.
what were you doing the whole way there? Like,
Yeah.
30 seconds of talking, like instead of like let's get you out of here,
Yeah.
and we'll talk later.
So Scooby's soul gets ripped out. Mr. Mondavarius is accepting everyone else's soul through the Damon-ritis. And then Shaggy attacks and knocks over Mr. Mondavarius. And then Scooby's soul gets launched back into his body. And then initially you kind of think, oh, that's it. You know, all the souls are returned. But then they pull off the mask of Mr. Mondavarius, and it's that creepy robot. Ugh. Oh my God, no. And just the teeth going like,
It was kind of weird.
ugh. And then they open up the chest and it's Scrappy-Doo. And now the Damon-ritis is just fused to his chest.
Is that why he started looking like he was all juiced up?
Yeah,
Wasn't
because
natty at all?
the souls were powering him. So
Power of 1,000 souls.
yeah, so then Scrappy-Doo turns into a T-Rex.
Huge.
Yeah.
Swole. Like traps on him. Like you've never
Yeah. And then he's chasing after Scooby-Doo to get his soul. And then we get the Daphne fight scene with the...
Oh, with Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention this guy earlier. With his, he's got the luchador mask on.
Yeah.
Throws in a flying elbow from the top rope and just
Woo!
misses.
just lands on your elbow on the concrete. Ugh.
It takes skill to drop the flying elbow from the top rope. Ugh. Yeah.
Yikes. Side note, speaking of wrestling, it was on at the pub today, and it was Randy Orton mouthing off to Triple H, and I was transported back to the early 2000s. Except Triple H is bald now, but Randy Orton looks the exact same, and it just blew my mind. I was like,
Triple H always had the long hair, didn't he?
yeah,
He would do like
him and Shawn
spit all
Michaels
over
were
himself.
D-Generation X. Yeah.
DX.
DX was my favorite. Yeah, where they're like, and then Shawn Michaels,
Sweet chin
music. Yeah.
I love. There was some video I watched. I don't know if it was him. Might have been him. Just this from years ago. Just kicking dudes in the face going down a hallway, and it always looked like he was really kicking them.
Yeah, I bet.
Played it up really well. Yeah. So now they're getting chased by this giant Scrappy.
Yeah.
Nacho Libre fights Daphne. Fred's
And then
fighting.
she kicks his ass.
Why is Fred fighting with one of those ninja rope weapons?
It's not even a ninja rope. It's the freaking not the harness cables from when they were up and like the.
Oh yeah, because they were professional.
carabiner.
They were professional climbers when they
Yeah.
were setting up that reflective ball.
Yeah. And then he's just using a carabiner as a whip.
That was. I was like,
Him being like,
because I guess he used it. Did he use it right at the beginning of the movie in the first couple of minutes when they were fighting the ghost? Did
No.
he use a rope thing?
No. oh, he used
He
a
did.
hose. He used a
he used
fire
something
hose.
because they gave us the impression that he has skills with a ninja rope or whatever this weapon's called. And Daphne's martial arts.
Ye-
So she's just kicking ass. I'm like, oh, okay, she's a trained fighter. Oh,
Yeah,
all
she's
right
like,
then.
I'm a black belt now.
But she couldn't fight a ghost or a man in a ghost costume.
Well, no, that was so she became in the 2 years in between. She learned, so she wasn't a damsel in distress anymore.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because there's a spot in here where they jump into some barrels to hide. I think it's barrels. Somebody goes by and she's like, I'm no longer the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
And then just smashes her face into the floor.
Mm-hmm.
They are the damsels in distress, not me.
Which, and then again, 0 damage because
Yep.
it's a cartoon.
Yep. And then they managed to pull out the Damon-ritis from Scrappy-Doo's chest. And he starts shrinking down back to normal. And then they find the real Mr. Mondavarius, who's been in a bunker for 2 years.
What if they're feeding him? Or what?
Right?
It doesn't seem like Scrappy would feed him.
No.
Probably just eating rats.
Yeah. And he didn't look disheveled enough
Just
for
looked
being
like
in
a
there for 2 years.
Fake beard.
Yeah, he looked like he was in there for,
Should have been covered
6 months.
with some of his own shit.
yeah.
His clothes should have been more tattered. Probably naked.
At least when Shaggy, like when he hugged Shaggy as a thank you, at least Shaggy reacted like you smell like shit.
I didn't realize this place had an amusement park attached to it. Because they're showing the shot after this, and I'm like, there was an amusement park there?
Yeah.
But they didn't include in just now. I'm like, oh yeah, they're at an abandoned ride.
Yeah.
But they don't really show the amusement
No,
park at all
I know.
before. Which threw me because I was like, why is there an amusement park?
Yeah.
Like, what else is on this island?
Fun times. That's
Spooky
what's on the
stuff.
island. Yeah.
That was it.
That's it.
That's Scooby-Doo. I rated this. I real rated this. 2 toy sex pyramids out of 10. Oh, crap, I can't remember what I wrote. I crumpled too quickly. 2 sex toy pyramids out of 10 dogs driving ATVs. The storyline was stupid. It was just an episode. It was just a real live episode of a cartoon, which was
Yeah.
like, why'd I waste an hour, 26 minutes?
I know.
I honestly, when I started this yesterday, I got 2 minutes in and I was like, ooh, I'm about to message Katie and be like, have you watched this yet? Don't, because we're going to watch something else. But I was like, no, just suffer through it. And it was, the first 10 minutes were rough. And then I was like, all right, fine. I'm already this far in. I'll just finish it. But yeah, there's nothing.
I knew it'd be a good pick.
Ugh. We're doing something action-packed next time.
Yeah.
Would you real rate it?
I real rated this a 2 out of 10 also. I real rated this 2 Scooby snacks out of 10 purple go-go boots.
Ooh.
Because the cast kept me invested. Every single person I think was cast perfectly for their roles. Matthew Lillard was believable as Shaggy. Linda Cardellini was believable as Velma, so on and so forth. And I liked the scenery. Like, they filmed this in Australia, and their outside scenes, like, it was pretty. It was nice to look at. One thing I read in the trivia, Tim Curry was supposed to be Mr. Mondavarius, but then, because he's a huge fan of Scooby-Doo, and then he found out Scrappy-Doo, a character he hates, was going to be the villain, and he was like, I'm out.
I think he made the right choice.
I do too. If Tim Curry was in this, I would have been very surprised and disappointed. Also, can you imagine how good this would have been if it were R-rated and Tim Curry was the villain?
Well, that's why I'm interested to check out this Scoob, the one that came out last year. Scoob.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's like PG-13 at least. Maybe something a little better than PG.
Yeah.
Or G. This should have been G.
Should have been G.
Next time, something with the White House exploding.
Yeah, the
next
White
week.
House is screwed next week.
Join us next week. We're going to have something with an exploding White House. Follow us on YouTube. Like and subscribe and share and all that stuff.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys for... Yes, thank you. We should just start saying
Yeah.
thank you guys for listening and watching if you've made it this far. I know a lot
Yeah.
of people don't. But if you did, you're part of an elite club.
You are.
And we love you. All right. That's it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Real garbage.